So I'll welcome you again, Stephen. And welcome everybody. Happy Thursday night. I hope you guys had a great Thursday night. I hope you're having a great week. Excited to close out the month, but excited for this particular call. It's a lot different than the normal Zooms that we have, but we have Stephen on here that is an expert on all of the extra benefits that our Melaleuca membership offers us, and he's going to be going through a lot of them. And the crazy thing is, I've been involved for 11 months. And a lot of the stuff that he went over with me, a few weeks back, I was just unaware of a lot of it. And it's going to bring a lot of value to you guys. It's going to bring a lot of value to your teams. I think it's going to help with retention tremendously as we understand some of this, because obviously we know all about the 600 plus exclusive products and even the learn to earn and the marketplace and some of the main things like that. But we have access to even a lot more savings as Melaleuca customers and things like that. So Stephen up there from the corporate office is the expert, and some of you have probably been on a phone with him, or he's probably called you about a few different things, and so this might be a refresher for some of you, but it's going to be brand new for most of us. And I'm excited to sit back, listen, and learn, and take some notes, and get it out to the team. So with that, Stephen, I'm going to kick it on over to you, my friend, and we got a good 45 minutes here for people to that they're expecting to listen and learn and go through the stuff. And if you want to wrap it up with some Q&A, then you most certainly can do that.
Wonderful. I appreciate that. I'm hoping that I actually unmuted myself. Did it work?
It did.
Excellent. Appreciate it. Clinton said some of these things. Let me reiterate them because they're important. On the group chat, you'll find my name, my address, my email address, my phone numbers, my extension, all the contact information. I will refresh that just in case you can't see what came before you logged in. So that I just did it again. I really want you guys to pick that up. A little couple of housekeeping things. Everybody's been muted. Feel free at any time to unmute yourself to participate in the conversation. If you don't, it's not a conversation, it's a monologue. I'm perfectly fine with that. I can carry a monologue. But if you've got something to add, absolutely, I want you to climb in. When you're done, don't forget to mute yourself again so that we keep the volume down for everybody else. One last thing, and I hate to pick on you, but it's one of the few pictures I can actually see. Joyce, raise your hand. Joyce Pierce, there you go. And you're getting picked on because you've got a camera that actually works and I can see you. If you would mind, you're in charge of a bit of feedback. We've got about 45 minutes. Would you mind watching the clock and watching the pace of what we're doing? If it's dragging, let us know. If I'm going too quick, just be my barometer if you wouldn't mind. Thank you, dear. Everybody should be able to hear my voice. Those who are logged in, you can see the login on the screen. You can see that I logged in. In this case, I logged in as Clinton and Stephanie, Executive Director 6, because that was kind of cool. I got 2. You don't get very often to log in and become Executive Director 6, but we need to log in. Here's the focus of what we're looking at here. Everybody at this point is actively engaged in building themselves a business and collectively building that business together. We want to make sure that you have every tool, every possible advantage, and the ability to maximize your commissions. You're going to hear this more than once throughout the conversation, and that is, and it's going to sound like I'm a Melaleuca fanboy. I am absolutely over the moon in love with the way Melaleuca does things. The focus of the company in every aspect, everything I've ever been able to find, the company is built around the principle of we are extremely well compensated in measure of the value we bring to other people. Sounds very much like the mission statement you've already heard several times. We enhance the lives of the people we meet by helping them achieve their goals. We are compensated by measure of the value we bring to other people. When the company deals with me, their focus is, what can we do for you, Steve? How can we make your life better? Everything that I do with you guys, it's all about what can I bring to you? What value can I give you? When you turn around and work with the people in your organization, your focus needs to be on what value can I bring to your life? How can I make things better for you? And if we're completely and utterly focused on that, Melaleuca is going to be just fine. Right? If we bring value to their lives, Melaleuca is going to be fine. you guys are going to be well paid as well. If you look at the login, we're going to focus on the things in the Marketplace tab. Everybody is, and for Deanna and the folks who are driving, in your mind, picture the Learn to Earn tab where the videos are. Next tab over is the Marketplace tab. What you find in the Marketplace tabs, it's just like loyalty dollars. When I'm talking to a preferred customer, it's a very short talk track. It's just like loyalty dollars. These are the services that you've earned through your association with Melaleuca. We want you to know about them. We want you to take advantage of them. We want you to use them to the, you earned them. They're yours. Most of them are just paid for by Melaleuca. You guys are not just preferred customers. There's an entire different dimension to it for us. We want you to really spend some time in the Marketplace, learn all of the services, learn to know them, learn the vocabulary of them so that you can communicate the services to the people in your organization. Several reasons. The people in your organization are going to learn about these things primarily from you. And as they do, here's the first of the 3 steps. As they do, as they start taking advantage of the services that they've earned, instead of averaging 30 and 33 months with you and with your organization, with Melaleuca, all of a sudden that jumps almost overnight. That jumps to 6 and 7 years. I paused, big dramatic pause there because I really want that to sink in. This is the cement that makes your organization twice as valuable. If Amy enrolls my wife and I, sorry, you caught my attention because you have dinner and I'm hungry. If Amy enrolls my wife and I and we stick around for 30, 33 months, there's commissions to be had for 30 or 33 months. If there's a good reason for my wife and I to stick around for an extra 4 years, there's commissions for an extra 4 years. This is the cement that makes your organization twice as profitable. Here's the 3 steps. I mentioned this is 1/3 of it. There's 3 steps here. Melaleuca is all about retention. You already know that part. You've heard it a lot. They're all about hanging on to the people that are part of the Melaleuca family. We do that by enhancing their lives. They're not wrong in that. Melaleuca's right, and I found they're right in almost everything they do. But y'all's focus probably isn't quite the same as Melaleuca's at this point. Melaleuca's focused on how do I get them to stay an extra 4 years. Y'all haven't got a single person in your organization that stayed 3 years yet, because none of y'all have been here 3 years yet. Your focus is much more likely to be on the short term. And there's 2 aspects of that. Those are the other 2 legs. The first aspect is, well, let's see, I'm supposed to come up with 5 more enrollments next month. Where am I going to come up with? We're going to cover that. That's not something that Melaleuca is going to teach you. This is all about retention. So all by yourself, you're going to look at what we go through here and you're going to recognize ways in which this can be extremely useful in enrollments. I'll point out some examples when we get there. The other half of it is, and give me nods when you start to recognize this. I haven't come up with a better term, but I call it the 6 and out. Last month I had 4 enrollments, but 2 of them were already gone. They lasted 6 weeks and they're out. If that's been an issue, the reasons for 6 and out, the reasons that people enroll and then immediately cancel out are as many as there are people. There's no one set reason, but the thing we do about it is exactly the same in every case. And if we do it, if we follow the process, 6 and out almost disappears. It becomes absolutely insignificant. Just by raise of hands, not the old digital raise of hands on the Zoom thing, just nod if you've got a camera in front of you. Have you had an issue with somebody enrolling, dropping out a month and a half, 2 months later? Not an issue for most of the people I can see on the screen. That's excellent. The other part of it is how do I use this for enrollment? We'll go through all of those things. If you look on the screen, under Marketplace, all these headlines right underneath the word Marketplace where it says, whoops, sorry about that, where it says retail partners and credit card. This headline generally annoys me because I get half my list and then I see everything else under other. You'll see the entire list over here on the left-hand side of the screen. You see the whole list down the left-hand, much easier that way. So if you're working through it that way, you'll find it easier. Almost everybody I talk to, even if they don't know where it is, they seem to be familiar with retail partners. You already know you get discounts at about 650 different places because you're part of Melaleuca. It's part of the presentation. Most everybody's heard of that. I thought I understood it. All this time I thought I understood it. I've used it. My wife's dryer went out. I got online, went to Melaleuca, went to Best Buy, picked out a dryer, bought it, got a paycheck, got a check, patted myself on the back. I did it right. I don't really see how that's going to help me buy shoes. I'm not buying a pair of shoes I haven't tried on. I don't understand why Target or Kmart are even on the list. That's not how I buy groceries. My wife, just recently, my wife taught me that I didn't know what I was talking about. We went to Best Buy. That's another one where I don't actually know what I need until I go play with it. So we went to Best Buy. I went to get a cart, and she said, no, we're going to do this through Melaleuca. She had her phone out, had it open to Melaleuca, had it open to Best Buy. So as we walked through the store, instead of take it off the shelf, play with it, figure out what I want, put it in the cart, it was take it off the shelf, play with it, figure out what I want, put it in her phone, put it back on a shelf. And she had it set, this is the kicker, she had it set for in-store pickup. So when we're all done, we just potzed around for about 5 minutes, went over to in-store pickup, grabbed our stuff, it's already paid for. How in the world did I not think of this? How is this new to me? I have since gone grocery shopping at Walmart with her. She didn't put it all in the phone and not put it in the cart. At Walmart, it was put it in the cart, went in the phone at the same time. When we headed for in-store pickup, it was, here's our cartload of stuff, here's our receipt, thank you and goodbye. Now that I see what she's doing, I asked her, she gets about on average, sometimes more, sometimes less, but on average, she gets about $200 in cashback checks from everybody she shops with all month long. She doesn't have to pay for it. It's just because she's part of Melaleuca and she's doing it to the very best. My wife's the extreme athlete of shoppers. But I thought that I've got to start telling this story. I've been telling this story for a month now. Nobody does that. But if they did, how much value would that bring to them? I guarantee you, I tell this story for one more month, my wife won't even be in the story. I figured the whole thing out by myself. And I bring this up as an example of this is the sort of value. Now let's circle back and talk about that 6 and out. The process for ensuring that enrollments stick is simple. You're probably already doing most of it. First piece of it is you do an absolutely correct, a complete presentation, and then you make sure you have a conversation with that guy every 2 weeks for the next 2.5 months. Here's an example. The first conversation, probably the enrollment itself, the presentation and the enrollment on the phone, and maybe you walked him through the first order online with the girls on in the order line. 2 weeks later, I'm going to call him back. Maybe this time, maybe it's a new month. Let me walk you through how to do an order online. Let's log in and do an order. 2 weeks later, maybe I use that conversation to review loyalty dollars and videos and backup orders and how they work and what to use them in. Let's see, I've got to talk to this guy 3 more times over the next 6 weeks. I'm running out of stuff to tell him. That's why I turn to the marketplace. I turn to the services. I can have a 10-minute conversation with him just about retail partners. You and I just did. And in that conversation, I'm not selling him anything. All I'm doing is bringing him value. That's what we do. If I can bring him value in this conversation, in every conversation, remember when I say Melaleuca, I work here in the corporate offices, but you guys are just as much Melaleuca as I am. Every single time Melaleuca reaches out and touches him, he ends up getting something. And after 6 contacts like that, one, he's already passed that critical stage. He's already passed the 6 and out stage. He's also gotten value out of every single communication he's ever received from Melaleuca, and he's starting to utilize one or more of the services. He's about as developed a customer as you could possibly ask for. This is the stuff that makes your organization solid. I'm not going to spend a lot of your time focusing on the, hey, and it'll get you an extra 4 years. Let's get the first 3 years first. But back to the list down the side. If you can see the screen, first one on there was retail partners. I don't usually get too many questions about Melaleuca credit card. It's pretty straightforward. Third one on there is home security system. That one's a little weird. We'll circle back to that one. ID theft protection. There's a little wrinkle that just showed up this past 2 weeks, and I don't know how we're going to fit it in, but we'll talk about it. Melaleuca has, for several years, recognized that identity theft is just critical nowadays. got too dangerous. It's gotten too destructive. Too many of our people have gotten hurt. So Melaleuca partnered up several years ago with LifeLock because they do it the best. And they provide LifeLock for everybody we do business with. We provide it through Melaleuca. We provide it at a discount so that it's less expensive than they can get anywhere else. And we give them 10% back in everything they spend in loyalty dollars. So it's very workable for them. Here's the wrinkle that came up 2 weeks ago. I keep saying Experian, it's the other one. Equifax got hacked 2 weeks ago, and they got half the United States, about 148 million accounts, so just about half the United States, all the way down to the granular, all the way down to credit card numbers and driver's license numbers. Melaleuca's response to that was, okay, everybody needs protection and they need it quick. So where LifeLock was always available for a very short period, LifeLock is available and Melaleuca pays for it. They pay for the enrollment, they pay for the very first month, and calculate $9 a month. They credit the account for 30 loyalty dollars, so that the individual, the thinking there is whoever stole all that information is going to try and scramble and use it quickly over the next 3 or 4 months before the powers that be take steps to stop him. I use that again as an example of everything Melaleuca is about. Everything they do, everything they focus on is what's within our power to do that brings value to the people we touch. If I can bring them value, there's a reason for them to stay. LifeLock is there. If you have, trying to think if most everybody understands identity theft, I hope. LifeLock, if you're not up to speed on what LifeLock does, they monitor every iteration of anything that identifies, I usually use me as an example, but we can pick on Clinton because he's on the screen. So Clinton's got it. Everything that identifies Clinton's name and his date of birth, his name and his address, his social, anytime anybody uses that anywhere, including himself, he gets a contact directly from LifeLock and says, hey, this is happening. In my case, first one I got was, hey, Mr. Gibbons, somebody's trying to buy a car, run a credit check. Here's the address of the dealership. Yeah, I'm at the dealership. I'm buying a car. They're running my credit. And it was a text. I said yes. Everything was fine. And I got one when I opened a checking account. Same thing. Hey, somebody's, yes, I know. I'm in the lobby. I'm opening a checking account. Leave me alone. Didn't really understand what it was at the time. Third one I got was somebody's trying to use your name and your social at the following address, and it was in Los Angeles to rent a car. No, I live in Idaho. I'm not currently in Los Angeles trying to rent a car. That transaction doesn't work because I didn't authorize it. Some kid spent $4 online, bought a name and a social to go rent a car he was never going to pay for. I would never have known till Alamo was chasing me, 5 months later. Alamo was saying, hey, we're going to take you to collections if you don't finally pay this. But it never happened. Kid didn't get a car. He got a call from the cops instead. That's LifeLock. It's always been available. At this point, though, it's become critical. So Melaleuca is providing it for everybody. The one under it, healthcare savings. You know what? We'll come back to that one. I do not know, by the way, how to get rid of all of these annotation marks all over the screen. Sorry about that. I know I made them. I don't know how to get rid of them because it's part of Zoom. If you look at the very last one, it's a great example of a service that you absolutely want to know about, but you have no use for. It's written in Spanish on purpose, Primer Contacto USA. It's for the guy who's trying to acquire American citizenship. Well, I'm already American citizenship. I got no use for that. Yeah, but if not already, shortly, you or somebody who in your organization is going to enroll somebody for whom that is a godsend. And he's going to learn about it through you. If he's a preferred customer, he is a really grateful customer. If he's a business builder, if he's a business partner, he's almost overnight, he's one of your very best business builders. Several reasons. One, a lot of other doors are closed to him. This is one of the few things he can legitimately do they can't take away from him. And he's plugged into an entire community that you and I can't even find, let alone work with. If he's a business builder and you're the one who brought him what he desperately needs and can't supply for himself, that's a guy who absolutely is never going to leave you. Makes a great example of why you want to understand, know, be able to communicate the services to the people in your organization. Back to, and I promised earlier, I'm going to point out some examples. Here's one. If I knew a guy, and I've tried to get him enrolled, Jorge is a friend of mine, and he would be great at Melaleuca. And he already loves the products, except he's still just stealing mine. But a couple of times now we've tried, and then the answer is always, no, money's tight, and I'm not sure I want to really commit to making a purchase every single month. But when I go to him and say, well, if you were part of Melaleuca, Melaleuca provides for its family. If you were part of the Melaleuca family, they provide Primer Contacto, which is a service to help people trying to struggle through the process of acquiring American citizenship. Now, all of a sudden, because his wife doesn't have a social, he does, but his wife doesn't have a social and tries to live very quietly so as not to attract attention. Now, all of a sudden, becoming a part of Melaleuca is a desperate need, not a question I keep asking him every couple of weeks. Enrollment of Jorge was almost an instantaneous thing. It was, and he's extremely good at it. The only bad part is he passed me up in about 2 months. Kind of made me mad. Meaning he made advancements much better than I did. Going to go back to healthcare savings. When you're talking to somebody in your organization, you're going to know in about 2 sentences whether the healthcare savings card has any value to that guy or not. If he's got comprehensive health insurance that covers everything and he doesn't have to pay for it, well, you can't do better than that. He's exactly where he needs to be. He doesn't need anything. He's in the military, or he's got a really good union, or he's still 22 and he's on mom's insurance. Well, for whatever reason, he has no medical expenses and there's not going to be any savings. If, on the other hand, he's got insurance, probably through work, well, that's me. I work at Melaleuca. I've got insurance. I picked the one that was least expensive, which means it's got a ridiculously high deductible. I use it for when somebody should get in a car wreck or when somebody gets cancer. That's about what it's good for. Everything else my family does through the healthcare savings card. I usually scroll down to this chart because it's a better visual aid. You can see it there. Just about everything my family does, we do through the card. All of our prescriptions, we get through the card because, like I said, I'm never going to hit that deductible. Not that they did anything wrong. Melaleuca provides wonderful insurance. It's just I picked the one that was really cheap. We don't even have vision coverage through my plan, so everybody in the house wears glasses. We all get that through the card. It covers hearing. It covers diabetic care. Nobody in my household had that issue, so it wasn't, we didn't care. Dental, I actually have dental at work. Covers 60, 50, whatever the percentage is, depending on the procedure. There's always several $100s left for me to cover, and I use the healthcare savings card. I get another 40, 50% off of my half. And you can see the rest of the list there. Chiropractic, and we used elder care for quite some time while my wife's mother was with us. And MRIs and CT scans and x-rays and imaging and lab tests, and it's hard to get excited about that stuff. I mean, I'm sure it's important, but it doesn't happen every day. Oh, if you see the very last one, Teladoc, that's the thing I think I get the most out of. I thought I knew what it was, and I was wrong. I wasn't terribly impressed. 24/7, I can get a live doctor on the phone, and so what? 24/7, I can get on Google and do just as well. I didn't realize 24/7, I can have a live conversation with a doctor who can give me an examination over the phone and write me the prescription that I already know that I needed. All of a sudden, that had real value. In our household, doctor visits are almost done away with. We do everything through Teladoc. We want you folks to be the experts on these things. So here's a couple of details. It doesn't follow the rules that we've learned to associate with insurance, meaning it only goes by address. My family made out like a bandit on this one. My 29-year-old daughter brought home my 3-year-old grandson. She needed to come back home and live with us for a while. 29 is too old to be put on my insurance. Grandson, you can't put grandkids on your insurance. But healthcare savings card goes by address. They share my address, they share in the card. So they got to use the card. For a while, that was my grandson's only coverage. Her little sister, 25, off at college. She's only in the house 1 month a year, but it is her official address. Gets to use the card. We want, like I said, we want you to be the experts on this stuff. There is no open enrollment. There is no limitation. There is no, I have to have it for 30 or 60 or 90 days before I use this or that. You can turn it on and turn it off at will. You can use it at your discretion. So you'll see on the screen there 3 columns, three categories. Imagine that there's actually 4. I can turn the thing off. I can put it down to 0, which means the 4th category. I can move it up and down the scale at will. My suggestion is grab the total care for a month, use it to death, everything you can think of, and by the end of the month, you'll know what fits your family, what value it brings to you. More importantly, you will have first-hand experience. We want you to be the one that your organization can go to. Now, most common question I get asked, oh, cool, dental. Does it cover orthodontia? There is nothing on the website that's got any indication. There's no way for you to know. There's nothing in here. I'm scrolling up and down. There's nothing in here that tells me anything about orthodontia. The only reason I know is because I have the card and I have the book and I open up and say, oh, guess what? Covers orthodontia, both adults and children. Yeah, it's a wonderful program, but you're not going to know that unless you play with it. Same with, and I should have mentioned earlier, when we looked at retail partners. It's a wonderful program, but I would really encourage you, go online, click on Marketplace, click on Retail Partners, pick a store, it doesn't matter which one, pick an item, purchase it. Because you don't want to be sitting with somebody in your organization and explaining to them and answering their questions, and you're learning it at the moment because you've never done it before. You don't want that to be the first time you ever went through it. We touched on Premier Contacto, we touched on the healthcare savings. The only one we didn't, I guess, is the home security system. I promised we would circle back to that one, but that one's a little weird. But in every case, Melaleuca's focus on this is, what can we do to bring value to the Melaleuca family? We provide these things so that they prosper by them, and then they stay with us so much longer. Your focus may well be, and it only works on an individual basis. I'll explain what I mean by that. May well be, how can I use these for enrollment? For my organization, exactly what Clinton's doing. Bring everybody together, get them all trained. That works with people in your organization. On enrollments, it doesn't. There's no place there's just no value in the conversation for enrollment. Oh, and by the way, there's a bunch of services. That doesn't get you anywhere. But I'm talking to this guy because I know him. I know a little bit about him. And if I know anything about him and I know the needs of his family, his needs, I'll pick a service that is tailor-made to answer a need of that particular guy. That's what I mean by on an individual basis. If I'm talking to Kathy, who's down the street from me, single mom, scraping by, there's no way I've been able to get her interested in, well, she likes Melaleuca, she loves the products, everybody does. But she's month to month on everything. She's absolutely adamant. There's no way I can make a commitment to make a purchase on a regular basis. I can't go to the grocery store on a regular basis. But I happen to know she's got 3 kids, and she can't even afford the insurance that they do provide at work because she can't afford it. So for the last 2 years, her insurance has been crossed fingers and hope nobody breaks anything. And when my wife went to her and said, if you were part of Melaleuca provides a healthcare savings card. The kids will go to the dentist and they get a cleaning they haven't had in 2 years. All of a sudden, being part of Melaleuca was a desperate need. And her enrollment was almost over and almost instantaneous. On an individual basis, if the service answers a need of that individual, then it's amazing for enrollment as well. Last one on there, the home security system. You'll notice when we click on it, a lot of verbiage. But there's not enough information in here to actually get anything done. There's a reason for that. It's a home security system. If you're putting one of those together, it actually has to work, which means you got to involve us in that. You got to involve us in that conversation. So you'll see at the bottom it says contact Melaleuca. What makes this one an odd duck? One, it's one of the only ones in there that has a recurring monthly charge. And in your organization, anytime somebody in your organization spends money, well, there's commissions. That's the whole point. That's why you built an organization. oddity about security systems. When somebody in your organization is spending money on a home security system, that's commissionable too, but only if you already have a home security system. So generally it's about Director 2-ish that I either got to you or you end up calling me saying, hey, I saw my commission report. There's like $55 worth of commissions every month that I'm not getting because I don't have a $33 security system. Yeah, maybe I should have put one on. When you get to Director 5 and 6 and the rest, it's pretty much a no-brainer. If I haven't gotten to her, this actually happened. Clinton, I think Clinton knows her. Denise Frere, Senior Director. Same conversation, just different set of numbers, which means she was really ticked. Conversation went something like, hey, you guys shorted me like $400. Well, wait, last month too. Oh, every month. Okay, and when we got to calm down and talked her off the ceiling and explain what was going on, we got it sorted out. But if you're building, it's an inevitability. You'll end up being an expert on home security systems because you want to, because there's money in it, because you want to get paid. Couple of details there. Melaleuca uses GE hardware, only because that's a question I often get. I don't know why it matters, but one of the first questions most people ask is what hardware? There's really only 3 manufacturers of hardware. Honeywell is one, GE is the other. I don't know that there's a whiskers difference between them. They're both very reputable. There's a third, a very distant third we don't use. Out there in the world, and this is important, and I'll tell you why. Out there in the world, just about everybody has learned you can't have a home security system unless you can pass credit and you own your home. Out there in the world, that's true. In Melaleuca, you already have a relationship with Melaleuca. We don't run credit. And we ship to you every month. That's sufficient. You can live in a tree house and you don't even have to own the tree. And yes, I make a lot of mileage out of that joke. There are no restrictions on these. Everybody in your organization, everybody in y'all's organization got in, well, they came out in April, or no, they came out in March, but they got in their enrollment kit a certificate for the purchase of a security system. It's $699 for the security system, so they don't have to pay for it. There's an activation involved with a security system. There are currently 2 promotions. I don't think they intended them to be side by side. They just landed that way. One of them pays half the activation, so it's only $99, and the other one gives the $99 back to you. So there's that too. And the last part, everybody in your organization, the one thing, well, great, how much does it cost? Out in the world, an ADT system, for instance, they start at $55. They'll average about $60 a month. A Vivint system, if you're not familiar with it, just I picked a different company. They start at about $60, $65. They average $70 or $75. A Melaleuca system will almost always be within $1 or $2 of $33. Depending on the parts and pieces, they'll be either 31 or 34. They will generate, that's a question I get from every business builder. They will generate, it all depends on the system and it all depends where in the organization, but a rough thumbnail, about $3 a system. So when you have about 9 or 10 systems in your organization, the commissions off of theirs have paid for yours. When there are 15, there's commissions, those are their profit. When you're senior, you have a security system because you can't afford not to. Sorry, I'm making fun of Denise, but it was, yeah, send me one. I don't care what color it is. I might not even take it out of the box, but I need to get paid. Example of enrollment. Imagine what you can do with a home security system trying to get somebody enrolled. Remember when I said it was an individual thing? About 1 in 4, 1 in 5 of the people that you are trying to enroll have a security system from somebody, Monotronics or ADT or Northstar, and they're paying somewhere between $55 and $70 a month for it. And when I go to Mike, who lives on my street, and talk to him about Melaleuca, he's got a Vivint system, which means he's paying about $70 a month for it. And part of that conversation is, well, Mike, I understand if you were part of Melaleuca, you could just give yourself that security system. You're paying $70, you could give it to yourself for $34. And if you knew that you were going to put 35 bucks in your pocket every single month because you're part of Melaleuca, how hard is it to make a commitment to 35 points worth of products you're already purchasing, just not from Melaleuca? My wife was amazing at enrolling because she had the inside track on every service. 3 things, a little recap. 3 things we talked about. Retention on the long term, Melaleuca's main focus. It's important. You'll grow into an understanding of why, but it's not expected that your focus is going to be on the extra 4 years at this point, until you got the first year. The second one was the 6 and out. If it's not, somebody clicked in. If you've got something you want to contribute, jump right in.
There was a question in the chat box, Stephen, that they were asking, does this apply to other countries as well, or is this only the United States,
thank you.
only North America?
So far, they are available only in America and Canada. I have, and by the way, I'm the guy who catches all the Montreal calls. We have 2 people in the office who are native Spanish speakers, which is why I'm not the guy, because if I try to speak Spanish, I sound like a 3rd grader. But we can handle French, we can handle Spanish, we can handle North America and Canada. Shortly, it will include Mexico, but not yet. There's a huge need for it in Mexico. There's a huge desire for it in Mexico. The parts and pieces aren't all together yet. I did not realize I should be paying attention to this chat box over here. I just assumed anybody would just jump in and interrupt me, but I apologize. I'm really hard to interrupt. Anything else that I should have seen in there and addressed? Nope. Okay.
That was it.
By the way, if nobody says anything, Joyce, it's your job. You're supposed to wave. Where was it? Oh, yeah. So thank you, dear. We talked about retention over the long term. We talked about the 6 and out. If it's not your current issue, be aware of it. This when we talked about 6 and out, as long as you're doing the steps that we talked about, it never will be. And if it becomes an issue, if you start seeing a 6 and out pop up once in a while, take a quick review and realize, well, let's see, am I getting sloppy, or am I getting fast and loose with my presentation, and am I following up the enrollment with a communication every 2 weeks for 2.5 months? If I'm doing those things, you're doing it right, you're never going to see 6 and out as an issue. If you start seeing the 6 and out, it's because you fell down on one or the other of those things. And the last one is keep an eye on all of the services, learn the vocabulary. That was the whole point of this long conversation and all these personal stories and that sort of thing, is to fill your mind with the vocabulary to communicate the value of the services to the guy for whom it makes such a difference. I'm not going to go and spread primer contacto around to everybody I meet. I'll tell them everybody I meet about Melaleuca products, but 9 out of 10 of them are already American citizens, and primer contacto has no value to them. Primer contacto is something I communicate to the guy that it matters to. Security system, to the guy who cares. Healthcare savings, to the guy that it brings a huge boost for his family and his kids. On an individual basis, these services are phenomenal for you to build your organization around. Those are the 3 pieces. Let's focus our question. Oh, and housekeeping. I'm hoping everybody can see. I put all of my contact information. The most important one is that email address on the chat board. I'm hoping everybody can see it. Here's your chores. I need an email from every one of you. Not in the next 6 minutes. I need an email from you. In that email, I need you to put down several things. One, I need to know who in your organization needs to be trained. You just went through the training. In that email, send me back an email and tell me the following people. I need more than just a name. It doesn't matter what more. More a name and a phone number, name and an email, whatever it takes, but more than a name. Name the people in your organization, and you get to pick the criteria. You get to decide how you chose them. If it were up to me, I would have chosen my best business partners, the ones that I have the highest hopes for, but we'll leave the criteria up to you. The people that you want trained, you just went through it. Now you know what it is. Send that to me. Well, next line item, you need to make a note if you want to be in on that training. Very, very common that somebody sits through my training and then wants to sit through it 3 or 4 more, not because I have good jokes. The joke's only funny the first time, but because at some point you're going to have to carry this conversation. You're going to do this training. So sit through it as often as it takes till you're comfortable that you know you can carry it. So tell me who you need trained. Make a note that says, I want to be conferenced in on that call. You're more than welcome to. I've also had people go through the training. I don't hear from them for a year and a half. And then they send me an email that says, hey, train this guy for me and conference me in. What in the world? You've been doing it for a year? Yeah, he just wanted a refresher. He just wanted to hear it again, make sure he was on track. Thought that was pretty wise. I thought I'd start sharing it. So who do you need trained? If you want to be in on that training, tell me that you went into the marketplace and you clicked on retail partners and bought something from somebody. Doesn't matter who, doesn't matter what. But tell me that you went in and clicked through the steps so that you've done it. Tell me that you went in and either enrolled in ID theft protection or tried and it got glitchy and it wouldn't let you. If you enrolled in it, you want to tell me so that I go behind you and get you paid, get you the loyalty dollars. If you tried and it didn't work, tell me, I'll get it done for you and get you the loyalty dollars. Same with, and I would really suggest the healthcare savings. If it works for you and your family, wonderful. Use it as much as you can. If it's just because you wanted to play with it for a month and you're buying an education, absolutely more than worth it because you can use it and stop it at any time. Let me know that you went in and enrolled in the healthcare savings. Let me know that you went in each of those services and played with them and got the education you were looking for. And the last one is that home security system. Let me know that you need somebody to walk you through and answer questions about it, or home security system is going to be on the back burner for a couple of months, one way or the other. Line items on the email again. Who do you need trained? That you want to be on the call with them when they get trained, that you enrolled or that you tried to enroll in the various services, and I owe you loyalty dollars, that you utilized retail partners and looked through the rest of them, and the last item, that you either need a phone call about home security system to answer questions, or that that's going to be on the back burner for a few months. All right, by the way, I'm taking a pat on the back, a virtual pat on the back. I'm taking a pat on the back. We hit 42 minutes. That's right. I'm proud of myself only because I could make this conversation last 3 hours. I guarantee. And I'm sure it could be done quicker, but not by me. Questions on, feel free to unmute yourselves at this point. Any questions on an individual service that you're either unclear on or you were hoping that I would talk about and didn't? Anything about an individual service? And promise whatever question is in your mind that it doesn't fit. Say it again.
I was going to ask you for LifeLock. I know you said Melaleuca pays for it. Do they pay that every single month? We just have to sign up for it, or do they just cover the first month and then we cover the rest? Or how did that work again?
Good question. Under normal circumstances, LifeLock is simply you get great discounts through Melaleuca, and then even after the discount, you get 10% back in loyalty dollars. And oh, by the way, Melaleuca provides that first month for free. This is not a normal circumstance. Because of the Equifax breach, Melaleuca is providing all of that, covering the enrollment, and crediting the account with 30 loyalty dollars. They're trying to make sure that you're covered for the first 3 or 4 months. Since it's $9 a month, you all know that how loyalty dollars work and all, but yeah, they offset. But that way, they want everybody to be comfortable using it and being protected through that period of time where they think this breach is going to be the most dangerous. I tell you both because this is an unusual circumstance. What applies to today will not always apply. And I apologize there. I'm gesticulating and waving my hands and pointing, and you all can't see that. Sorry. Did that cover the question on the LifeLock part?
Yeah. Yep. And you're the one that has to activate those dollars. We sign up for it, you activate them and put them in our account.
Right. Good question. Just to popped into my head. When you click on the ID theft protection and you go into that particular tab, when you get to the enrollment screen, oh shoot, I can't do that on Clinton's because he already has LifeLock. It won't take you to the hello screen. It'll only take you to the hi, you've already got LifeLock screen. On your own enrollments, on your own logins, when you click on ID theft protection, you'll see a nice picture. I can't remember what the picture is, but you'll see a nice picture. The picture itself is the button for the enrollment screen. So click on the picture. And on the enrollment screen lies. I apologize for that. It shows 3 options. There aren't 3 options. There's only 2. One option went away years ago. They just never took it off the screen. You have the first option and the third option. So detail there. You will find it fairly easy to enroll an individual. It is incredibly glitchy and frustrating when you try to enroll her family. So if it's an individual, knock yourself out. You'll be fine. Shoot me an email. Let me know you did it. If you're enrolling somebody more than you, if it's her and her wife, or him and his wife, I'm sorry, I said it the other way around. Him and his wife, or her and her husband, or adult kids, don't get started. Just call and make me do it. Mostly because we want the process to be smooth and easy. We want it to be seamless. We don't want you to get frustrated with the guy you just enrolled 2 days ago. Not a great start. Any other questions on LifeLock? We'll expand it here in a second, but specifically on LifeLock. How about any of the services that we talked about? Anything that you were unclear on? Want me to go over again? Hope that I would talk about didn't.
I have a question about LifeLock.
Oh, okay, back to LifeLock. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I called and enrolled in LifeLock last month, I believe it was. I don't know if it was, I don't know if that promo was on where they actually, is the promo always, you know, even last month, what I'm trying to say is, do I get 3 months free since the breach? Okay,
yeah, the
no
promo
problem.
You're talking about, yeah, I apologize, but the promo is you'll never see it again. It's a knee-jerk reaction to a really, really bad situation, and my expectation is that you'll see it disappear at the end of this month. I have in the past seen a month. You might see that again, about once a year, kind of like when you see a dollar enrollment. But this is, yeah, you'll see it again the next time they break the Experian next time, or the, oh shit, I can't remember the third one. Anyway, next time something really dramatically bad happens.
So it would be a good idea for us to share with our team this month that LifeLock is going to be more affordable for them, correct?
Yeah, I would really suggest, it's 99.9% certain that this is going to go away on October 1st, which means share it with your team, get the word out as quickly as you can. Even if the result is simply, great, yeah, LifeLock for 4 months sounds awesome, I'll take it. That's all. Nothing wrong with that. Melaleuca is offering it, take what they're offering. There's no reason not to. Spread that information as far as you can, as quickly as you can, and make sure that I know who I owe loyalty dollars to. So send me an email. I can cheat. No, if I do that, I'll go into screens you can't access. So sorry. For Clinton, I can go into Clinton's organizational chart, but no, that's not something I'm going to put on the screen for everybody to see. Imagine your own organization, come through it, send me an email, say, hey, I have these 18 people. I'll grab LifeLock. You owe them 30 loyalty dollars times 18. Get them paid. I'll make sure it gets done.
Okay, thank you.
No problem. Thank you. By the way, who did I just talk to? You're not one of the 4 pictures I have on my screen.
Madra.
Ah, thank you, Madra.
You're welcome. Thank you. This was very informative.
And you just reminded me, I appreciate that. There is one last thing that I really, really hope, I don't get a lot of traction when I ask, but I'm hoping that'll turn around. Add to the email that you're going to send me, brutally honest critique, and if it says nothing but nice things, it's not worth anything. So I don't mind hearing the nice things, trust me, but critique the training that you just went through. Critique the information, critique the tone, critique the delivery, critique the timing. If there's anything at all that you can contribute to improving this training, it's worth it, because this training is going to get given to the people in your organization. you probably want it as spiffed up and as good as it can be for their sake, if not for yours. Make sense? I mean, if you're talking about, yeah, I can overlook the flaws there. Yeah, what do you want those flaws presented to the guy you just enrolled? Let's fix the flaws. So if you can't find it in your heart to be impolite, if you can't bring yourself to be brutally cold and critique it well, just send those critiques to Clinton. He has no problem. So forwarding without your name, forwarding it on to me with brutal honesty. Did anybody have any trouble finding all of my contact information? I just saw it flash on the screen again.
No, I think it was good. There was one last question, then we'll wrap this up.
Thank you.
We had a gal said, sorry, I might have missed it. Do we need to put something specific in the subject line of the email after we sign up for a service?
No. If it were an automated process, I could see what you're talking about. No, this is just coming to me. Every time I do one of these conferences, I block out a big chunk of time the following morning because I'm going to get inundated with emails. Just talk to me. Send me an email. Tell me tell me what you want me to know, and tell me the things I need to know.
Perfect.
There's one other thing. Oh shoot, there was until. Oh yeah. If that's the last question, great. We'll wrap up. I am going to hang in on the call for as long as anybody needs my attention. So if you have further questions, if you have anything else, I'll be the last guy to drop off the call, so I'll still be here.
Perfect. Well, we appreciate it, guys. If you guys have any of you guys have a question, just unmute and fire away, and we'll give it 60 seconds. I don't think it takes any longer than that for you guys to unmute and ask a question. If nobody does, then we'll all hop off, and we appreciate Stephen. A lot of great information, a lot of useful information for us and going forward for our team. So we really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you. I don't see that everybody's unmuted yet. I think they're all waiting.
I'm just going to assume if they stay muted. I see several people have dropped off and went from 40 participants to 7. So a lot of them are dropping off and saying thanks in the chat. So I'm assuming that if there's no questions now, then or they stay muted, that they don't have any questions, and we'll call it a wrap.
Excellent. Clinton, if I can impose, I'll ask. I know you're busy and may or may not, but I'll ask you to do the same. If you'll send me an email, all the same information. Mostly, I'm looking for that last line, and that is the feedback. We need this training to be as impactful as it possibly can be, which means let's sacrifice my ego and clean it up.
Absolutely. Yep. No, I'll definitely get you an email. It just might not be for a few days.
Yeah, I've learned how to communicate with you, and I have no doubt that it'll take several days.
we got a lot of people to go enroll here before the end of the month, but we'll definitely get you an email. We'll get you everything, and like I said, we really do appreciate it. It was very, very beneficial.
All right, thank you, folks. It was nice to meet you, and thank you, Joyce. You were a good sport. Yep, I see the waves. You can't see me waving back.